So today's hot topic is your focused brand and how you can portray that and show that right now, especially some great things to work on while we're quarantined, while there's not a lot of work to be done for many of us, right? Some actual work. So when I say actual work, I just mean like an exchange of money, actual things going on. But that's not true for all of you, I know. And some of you are still rocking your business and kicking it through this quarantine. And congratulations to all of you. But I know that even if you're not actually selling right now, you are still working because you want your business to succeed and to last through whatever we've got going on here and however long it takes to get through it. So I was talking to somebody, maybe it was on our meeting last Thursday night. I don't remember who it was, but I was saying, it's not that we can't work right now. It's just that our work is a different method right now. So many of us cannot actually sell or be in people's homes or provide the service that we want to provide at the moment. But, through some like creative thinking and just, coming up with different ways to service our clients or our potential clients, we're just working in a different way. And the other thing I want to say is that there's this kind of like false idea out there that we have all this time right now, right? That you're home and you have all this time to work on your business, or you have all this time to, to come up with strategies and all. And it's simply not true. I mean, I think that that's just such a false statement. In fact, I have less time than ever to work on my business right now. And I'm not of heads anybody that feels the same way. With the kids being home, I am extremely, and as you guys are too, like extremely distracted from, during school time and afterwards. And there's nobody here to take over when school is done anyway. So I'm still, with the kids and hanging out. So my work has really been kind of pushed to the wayside. And the moments I'm finding to work are, after the kids go to bed or very early in the morning. And so we're all having to kind of make these adjustments. And I just want you guys to know that all of this, I see a lot of posts and a lot of things like, if you don't come out of this, ripping and raring to go with your business, or you've like lost weight, or you've gotten in shape, or you've done all these things, it's simply not true. And I just don't want you guys to have that mindset. I want you to think about this, is that it's just that our time has shifted and our time has changed. It's not that we have more of it. And in fact, we may have less of it. So, but one thing I want you to think about during this time, and this is something that you can do in your head and as simple as jotting things down, is to think about your brand. And I want this to be all about your focused brand. So when I say brand, I don't mean like your logo or, your colors of your website or anything, although that does have a little to do with it. What I really want you to think about is the story that you're telling to potential clients, potential customers, your current clients, your current customers. And we've discussed this in the past at meetings, but I want to make sure that everybody kind of has this idea and is on board with it, is that you should have 3 to 5 things that you talk about ad nauseum when it comes to your business, right? When it comes to your website, your services, your social media presence, anywhere, posts, stories, and all that. When you meet people in public, when you talk to somebody face to face, which doesn't happen often now, but when you did talk to people face to face, you should have 3 to 5 bullet points that you talk about so much that you can just say it in your sleep. I mean, it's just, it's on and on. And I want you to think about right now is some of the people that you look up to that you find very successful in business. You guys, many of you know I'm a big Jenna Kutcher fan, right? And she's an educator, an online educator, and she has a great podcast for online business. And she has like this story of 3 to 5 things that she always talks about. It's not to say she doesn't talk about other things, but she started her business as a photographer. She bought like a $300 camera off of Craigslist, turned it into a 6-figure business, quit her regular corporate job. She became this online educator afterwards, and she likes mac and cheese. I mean, these are like the 3 things that now she's a mom, so she's kind of added to it. So, these are like the 4 things that she talks about non-stop always. They're the 4 pillars for her. And so what I want you to do is think about your 3 to 5 pillars, the things that you always talk about in your business. And like I said, it's not that you can't talk about other things. It's not that you can't throw in some different stuff here and there. But I really want you to get focused on these 3 to 5 things, because that is your brand. People want to buy from a person, not necessarily a company. The only companies we want to buy from are those big companies that we know about, like Target. Of course, you see a Target and you want to buy there. I know for me, shopping, you know, I know Old Navy, I can get great little pieces for inexpensive prices. But as far as what we do as female entrepreneurs and local businesses, people, and women especially, because women are most of our clients. I mean, I know some of you have, you know, have other clients, but we're really talking about women. Women buy on an emotional level, and they would really like to connect with the person that they're buying from, or that they're, you know, contracting these services with. And all of you have these amazing personalities, and you have started this business, you know, over a labor of love, because of a passion, because of something that you know, that you care about so strongly about. And that should come across in everything you put out there. And I'm going to use social media as an example just because it's the easiest, but I want you to think about it in terms of when you meet somebody in person, or when you are writing a blog post, or when you're, you know, working on your website, when you're speaking in public. And so these 3 to 5 points should be your pillars, your foundation. They can always come back to it. Think of it as, if I was posting on Instagram 5 times this week, what are the 5, and that's it, that's all I was allowed to ever post again. What are the 5 things that I want to say about the Mama Crush, about the business that I run? And so these 3 to 5 points can be your origin story. Doesn't have to be, it's just that these are some good ideas. Your origin story, like, where did you start this? Why did you start this? And I use the Jenna Kutcher example. It was because, you know, she picked up a $300 camera off Craigslist and decided she wanted to be a photographer. That's her origin story. For the Mama Crush, I was a mom, a stay-at-home mom, who only knew how to dress in yoga pants or in corporate clothes, and I had to find that middle ground. And so I did, and that's my origin story, because then I loved it so much, and I wanted to share it with other moms. So you have to come up, you don't have to. And a great idea is to come up with your origin story. Another thing would be the problem you solve. This is actually probably the most important part of it, is what is the problem that you're solving, or what is the solution that you're offering to you know, your potential clients or your current clients. And another thing to think about is your personality, right? You know, you want to throw in some personality there. For the Mama Crush, I'm a mom of 5. Like, that's a personality thing. That's it. Well, I don't know if my personality says I'm a mom of 5, but it's like a personal thing, right? It's personal. The Jenna Kutcher example, she loves mac and cheese, right? And then she's a mom. Those are her personal, like, touches on it, so that people get to know her, people get to know you, and they want to identify with you. It's not to say that your clients are going to always be people that are just like you, but it helps to know if they find that connection, right? They think, oh, I either identify with her, or I love, you know, who she is and her personality. You may follow somebody or buy something from someone just because they're like this super bubbly, awesome personality that makes you feel good when you talk to her, but that doesn't mean that's you. So you're not trying to get your clients to mirror you, but you are just sharing a little bit of information about yourself. So you can think of that as pop. Sorry, Jess, I'm using pop, but it's, how did I say that? It's the problem you solve, your origin story, and your personality. So if you think of those 3 things as your 3 to 5 pillars, and come up with what, you know, how you came into business, what your business is about, who you help, who you solve problems for, and then a little bit of who you are. So let's do an example. Diana, you're probably a great person to do this for. So tell us your pop, like, what's the problem you solve? How did you start doing this, your origin, and then a little bit of your personality.
I was actually just thinking as you said this that I have not talked about my origin story in a very long time, so it's probably something I should, you know, kind of recycle.
Revisit. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. Especially because it's been years, and since then I've gathered new people that are following and all that stuff. But I didn't always love to cook. I didn't know how to cook, really. I grew up in a household where my mom worked full time, so really all of the cooking happened with my grandmother. She was the one that would cook and stuff. But I loved her passion for it. So fast forward to when I got married, my husband comes from an Italian family, and there were eaters and cookers. And so we went to dinner one day with with my in-laws and his like great aunt, who was like 90 years old at the time. And she asked, oh, is Diana, you know, feeding you? Like, are you eating well? And he was like, I mean, no, she doesn't really cook, you know, and I was like, what the hell have you been eating for the past however many years we've been living together? Because we've been living together for a little while. And I was like, okay, you know, so as a joke, I actually that week went home and made like, so his thing was like, he didn't consider casseroles like a meal. Like he thinks of a meal as like different portions of, different. So I went home and I started, looking on foodnetwork.com and all these different things, and made a meal with like all these different things. And as it turns out, I had such a fun time doing it that I started cooking more often. And that's kind of how I started my whole journey in the kitchen. So that was actually how it really began, because after that I left teaching. And so I was looking for something else to do. And then that's how the blog kind of was conceived. So that's how that happened. As far as a problem, people need easy, quick recipes that are accessible and that most of their family will eat. So I try to do that. It's changed over the years, obviously, like like you were saying, it's part of the personality thing too. You change as you get older. And so our needs have changed a little bit, especially once we had a son. And he's 5 now. He's a picky eater. So a lot of the stuff that, maybe I was cooking a few years ago isn't the same now. But I think that the people that I've followed along with me have evolved with me as well. And so they kind of, plus, you attract different groups at different points in your journey. And so I think it's been pretty good. So right now I'm kind of focusing more on that quick and easy, sort of lifestyle focus for parents and people that are maybe not, professionals in the kitchen, but that want to feed their families and have semi-healthy things on their plates. So
awesome. Kind of and then personality wise, you're a mom, you've got a great little kid, and everybody has this same trait. We're all home right now. So
yeah, exactly.
That's fantastic. Would anyone else like to volunteer to give their pop? Anyone? No? You guys are going to make me call someone out?
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'll make my story a little bit short. So about 17 years ago, I was a young single mom, and I had just got done having spinal surgery, and I needed to have a different type of career because I worked with kids. I was always very active. I needed something a little more stationary. And my friend's husband owned a tax and accounting firm. So he hired me to do some basic, administrator work. And just as working there, he kind of really put me to task. I started learning bookkeeping and stuff. But soon after I joined the firm, he went back into investing because he found this solution to this dilemma he had for years. And so he asked me one day to send out an invite to people to come to a class. And I remember I just wrote like date, time, location, and this is the name of it. And then I would get phone calls and they'd say, what's it about? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an investment advisor. That's what you come. So I started watching all the videos and exploring all the materials so I could learn what they were going to learn. And so through that and through going through all the coaching, I actually started learning investing. And my co-advisor, he's a CPA, so he talks like a CPA, like on your 1040 Schedule C. And people are like, what did he just say? So I, being this, younger single woman that doesn't come from the world of investing or accounting, I was able to communicate in a way that women can understand. So the problem that I solve is that I can help eliminate confusion, help women gain insights to investing and align their investing and all their money decisions with their true purpose. And I'm a mom of 2. I have a almost 23-year-old daughter, Angelie. So she's all grown. So God bless you all stay-at-home mamas who are homeschooling and running businesses. And I have a husky as well. So if you follow me on social media, he's become my coworker and he's helping saving investors as well.
That's awesome. Thank you guys, both of you, for sharing. And I want all of you to notice that the thing that happened with their origin story, both of them, and this is probably true if you were to talk out loud and say your origin story, is that you had a problem and you found a solution and you found it for yourself. And then you became so entrenched in that and so like passionate about it, or you enjoyed it so much, or you just, it really was something that clicked for you. Like for Diana, it was, she wasn't a chef or a cook, but when she started doing it, she was like, oh, wow, this actually, I really like it. And I really enjoy it. And she started taking the photos and she's really good at it. And it became a passion. For Jen, it was the same thing. She was like, I don't really understand what's going on. So I'm going to watch these videos and learn about this. And as she did it, she realized, oh my gosh, like I actually understand this and I think I could relay this to other women who are in my same spot. So when you talk out loud and you speak out loud your origin story, or you write it down, either one, look for clues then afterwards is, okay, what was the problem that I had and how did I solve it? And then that is actually the same problem and solution that you're giving to others, right? That you're servicing others with. And then the personality part, both of you, when you spoke your origin story, your personality came through as well, right? And it doesn't always have to be like you have to add one other thing in, because it sometimes just comes through. Hey, Katrina, joining us there. See you down there. Let me add you on. So I absolutely love both of you sharing those stories, because that pop, right? The, what did we say it was? It's, oh my gosh, my notes are going dark here. The problem you solve, your origin story, and your personality are the 3 to 5 pillars that you always want to be talking about. If somebody thinks about you, those are the things that they should think about. That is the message you should be putting out, whether it's on social media, on your website. And like I said, when you're talking face to face with someone, I know we're in a weird spot right now. We're not really talking face to face with people, but if you're on a personal call, you know, if I talking to, you know, Noelle, and we're on like a personal FaceTime or a personal meeting, and she's asking me about personal styling, like my business, these are the same three to 5 things that I always want to come back to. So even if we get off track, and that happens a lot for all of us, a lot of us are very creative people. We're kind of like always got a bunch of things burning, you know, different irons in the fire. But if you always come back to those 3 to 5 pillars, then you're going to keep your messaging on brand. You're going to be your brand, and you're going to always exemplify what your focused brand is. So, and when I spoke earlier about, you know, like your logo and your colors and things, those aren't necessarily the brand we're talking about today. They definitely play a factor. And I don't want you to think that I'm just pushing that off to the side, because I'm not. I mean, Jessica McGillicuddy just started the Pop Home, and she has her website now. And the Pop Home, to me, when I see her logo and her site, it's very clean, it's very organized, it's very sharp. The colors are very like, it's really clear and concise. And I know what she does. I know what the website looks like. And so that is a part of her brand, because she's an organizer, right? She's a home organizer. So that is an important part of what you do and your brand. But I'm really talking today about your brand story, right? What you are going to portray out there, you know, to the universe, and how you're going to show people your personality, who you are, how you can help them. We talked about how people like to buy from people. They don't necessarily want to buy from the business or the business name. They would rather help me, or not help me, but, you know, let me be of service to them. So like the Mama Crush. I mean, if you just say the word the Mama Crush, people have no idea what that is. They don't know what I do, you know. And if somebody were to say, oh yeah, you should call the Mama Crush, what? Who knows what that is? But oh, you should call Leanne. She's a personal stylist. You know, she's a mom of 5. Those are my pillars, right? You know, she helps women, you know, our moms get dressed every day. Those are the pillars, the foundations of what I talk about all the time. And that is something that could pique someone's interest and can get, you know, somebody interested in what I do. The Mama Crush is just the fun, catchy name that goes with it. So when you are working on these 3 to 5 pillars, I want you to think about how you can incorporate them into your profiles, right? So if somebody were to go to my Instagram page for the Mama Crush, are those 3 to 5 pillars exemplified in my profile, right? Could somebody go on there and know exactly who I am and what I do? If they go to my website, do they see that immediately? If, and this is just all like profile talk, but if I meet somebody in person, or I am speaking at an event, like live in front of people, am I talking about those 3 to 5 things? And is that message getting across that this is who I am, and this is what I do, this is the problem I solve, this is how I started. And the other thing is that these origin stories and your problems that you solve and your personality should be able to be broken down into bullet points. So if I'm putting this on Instagram, I'm not going to give this long drawn out story, right? In my profile, I really have like space for 5 words, you know, so I'm going to put that into like a little 5-word sentence. But if you have those 3 to 5 pillars in short, condensed bullet points, and then you can always speak to them, and you can always elaborate later, right? You can always elaborate in your posts. You can always elaborate on your website and your blog posts. In person, you can elaborate. I have made more sales talking to people about what I do than ever from social media when it comes to the Mama Crush, when it comes to the personal styling business, because I'm able to then elaborate and to, you know, to go into more detail. So you just want to get that personality across. And I think that this is a really great time to think about this and to work on this, because right now we aren't able to get face-to-face in front of people. I mean, you can get on Zoom calls and FaceTime, but it's a little different than being, you know, in the same room as someone. So a great solution to this problem right now is to think about those 3 to 5 pillars, your focused brand, and how you can portray that out into the universe. Initial Styles, Shannon, she's just popped off, but she owns, a monogramming gift store. Adorable stuff, great, amazing gifts and products. And she's, still monogramming, still delivering, still sending out gifts and shipping gifts. And that is the solution. That's the problem she solves. You need a gift, you need it, especially a personalized one. She can send that out for you. But I don't know how Shannon started this or what made her so excited to do it. And I would love to know more. So these are just things that when I say, like, even if it's a service or a product, you can apply these same principles to whatever it is that you do. The last thing I'm going to say, I know we're running a little late here, but I did get this really cool list, and Katrina is actually a great person to speak on this, and I'll probably maybe talk to her later about it, and so I can give you guys more info. But there's, such things like brand strategy questionnaires. So if you work with somebody who has who designs websites, or who is, even like Noelle probably does this too. She talks to her clients and says, she asks all these questions to kind of uncover these 3 to 5 pillars so that she can portray that in the work that she does for her clients. Katrina does the same thing. She's a, female entrepreneur business coach, and she helps women start their businesses or keep them going, or helps them do all these, amazing things with their businesses to grow. But she has to know all the background story. She has to know what are those 3 to 5 pillars that person always wants to put out there and always wants to exemplify. And so I'm sure she has some sort of questionnaire or just solid questions she always asks every person. So I'm going to read through some of these. I found this really great brand strategy questionnaire online, and then I'll put it into our own words. But I'm just going to read through these really fast. It's going to be quick, and it'll be in an email to you guys. But here's some of the questions you can think about. And this doesn't have as much to do with your origin story, but more about your problem you're solving and the solution. So what problems are you solving for your customers? What needs or desires are you meeting? Who is your ideal customer? Who is your secondary ideal customer, right? Like, we always have an ideal customer, but there's other people that may want to buy from us as well, or that we want to work with. If your brand were an individual person, how would you describe it, right? So how would you describe it? For me, I would say it's probably like my own personality. If my brand, if the Mama Crush, was a brand, because I am kind of my brand. But think about this. What adjectives would you use to describe your personal style, aesthetic, and personality? If your brand were a place, where would it be? If your brand were a room, how would it be decorated? This is getting really deep, you guys. How would you describe your brand's tone and voice? For me, like with the Mama Crush with personal styling, it's upbeat, it's positive, it's very, like pro moms are awesome. And so that's definitely a good one to think about. Do you want the brand to feel more traditional and well-established, or more modern and like up with current trends? Who are your top competitors? So I don't want to say competitors necessarily, but who are the other people in your space, right? It is competitors, but who are the other people in your space? And what do their brands look like? Which ones do you like? Which ones do stand out to you? We don't want to copy, but it's definitely great to be aware of what else is going on in your industry. Why do clients or customers choose you over your competition, or vice versa? Why are they choosing, other people in your industry over you? Where do you see your brand in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? What is the most unique product or service that you offer? What makes you unique? And if it's the same service or product that everyone else is offering, what makes it unique? It may be you, it may be your service or your dedication to the project. And what are 2 things about the way your brand is presented currently that you want to change the most? So those are really great, just little bullet points to think about. I'll put this in an email to you guys. I know that was a lot of information, but it's just ways to think about your story, your brand, what you're telling people, and who you're trying to attract to you, right? And if you come up with these 3 to 5 pillars that you can always talk about, no matter what situation you're in or what platform you're using, then I really feel like you're going to have a strong brand personality, and that people will be drawn to it. And on another note here is that there were going to be some people that are very repelled by it, right? And that's okay. And many of you know that already, that it's okay to not have everyone like you. It's okay to repel people, you know, that don't want to be a customer of yours or a client of yours, because that just means that you're focusing in on who you do want and who you do want to work with and who you do want to serve. And trust me, you don't want someone to sign on with you begrudgingly, right? I mean, you may think you do, like, I'm going to win this person over, but it's much easier and much more fun to work if you have somebody who is interested in what you do, interested in your product, believes in you and believes in your service, as opposed to trying to win someone over. When we talk generality, you know, like when you're just putting things out there, you're trying to win over everyone. But I want you to be more specific. Like, I want you to be very specific in your brand, in your story, in your personality, and only try to attract certain people. So that's what we've got today on Focus Branding. I know I ran late, I'm sorry. But I want to open up the floor to you guys. If anybody has anything they'd like to add or anything they want to say. Oh, and I do need to say something about the membership really quickly. So we have gone exclusive. We've gone to a private membership. And so many of you have seen the posts or gotten the emails. The annual membership will normally be $100 for a year, which really, if you break that down by month, it's really not that crazy. But we're offering a founder special until Friday at midnight. It's just $60 for the entire year. I will do other specials, you know, throughout the year, but it will never be this low, never the $5 a month that it breaks down to. And if you're getting the emails and you're seeing the posts, you know all the things you get. You get access to the meetings, you get the recorded links, you know, or links to the recorded meetings. You get the weekly emails that have all of our tips and our notes from our meetings, and always a free downloadable every week, whether it's a guide or a checklist or something that has to do with the topics that we've been talking about. You are a member of the Facebook group, the private Facebook group. And once we get back to normal life, we'll go back to doing events. So we always have a special event once a month, whether it's like a happy hour or a big event, and you will be able to go to those for free. And the other benefit of being a founding member is that you're locked in at that price for life. So it will always be that price for you forever. And so I encourage you to use the link in the bio on the Instagram page and the Facebook posts and your emails, and go sign up by Friday. And many of you already have. I'm super excited. Thank you so much. Katrina gets the honor of being the very first person to sign up for our founders, our founder membership. And so I want to tell you what happens if you don't sign up, so that you know. First of all, we always want to bring in new people. We always want to bring in new women and new local female business owners and entrepreneurs. So a first meeting is always going to be free. You know, it's always going to be complimentary. So if you have someone you know that you want to come to a meeting, invite them, bring them on. You know, they can come to a meeting and meet some of you and get to know all of you and see what we have to offer. So that's always free. But if you are not a member after that first meeting or after this Friday, you're going to be moved to a different Facebook group, and we will have a private group just for our paid founding member, or not found, but paid members. And then you will also not receive the weekly emails that have the downloadable or the notes and things from the meetings. If you are just someone who's interested and who, you know, has been to a meeting before but doesn't want to be a member right now, you'll still get a weekly email with like our meeting times and when we're meeting, stuff, so that if you have an interest in to keep going, then you can. So many of you here have already paid. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It's really, really exciting to me that we were able to do this and go exclusive. I just love being a part of this group, and I love all of you, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and I just hope it gets better and better. I'm putting 80% of my focus into business casual. Obviously with personal styling, I could do some different things, but it's not really my focus, you know, and I really want this group to flourish and to help each other and to keep learning and sharing. And so that's why this is going to be my main focus right now. And well, continuing on, not just right now, but, you know, continuing on, I really want all of you to get everything that you can out of it. So is there anything I can answer, or let's see, Mika, you need the email. Oh, Michelle, I'm sorry, we didn't say it before. Michelle is a real estate agent.
Yeah, can you,
Oh, you're breaking up, Mika. If you could put your email, Mika, in the notes, that would be fantastic. It would be really, really helpful. And we have so many more people on right now. I'm going to take another picture. Can you guys smile for a second?
can you put me on email? I don't.
Yes, Mika, if you put your email address in the chat box, then I can make sure you're on the email. Dana, I did put you in the emails. If you're not getting them, they are from Business Casual Mastermind. It might be in your junk mail or spam folder or whatever, so be sure to check. But I'm more than happy. If you still don't get it, please DM me, message me, whatever it is, and I will forward it to you from my own email. So, and Mika, the same. If you don't get it, please let us know, and I will just forward it on to you guys and make sure you guys are in the group. Jen Foster, I did send it to your other email address, hoping you got it today. Jen has been a member from day one.
I'll look again.
Okay, Jen has
find it one way or another.
Yeah, day one, and I feel so bad because she hasn't gotten any of these emails, so I don't know why. Okay, guys, so I'm going to open it up. If anybody has anything they want to chat about, talk about, any thoughts or questions on this, personal brand story. Nothing? No one?
I just wanted to piggyback on your last comment. You know, I think it's so true, and it's something that I hold really close, is that I know everybody needs my service, but I only work with those who want and value my service. So like a lot of times people ask me how much is the minimum to invest? And I don't have a minimum, because it isn't about amount of money. It's about, do they believe in the method, and are they coachable? So I think that's just really helpful. It's like you said, not everyone's going to like you, not everyone's your cup of tea, or vice versa, and not everyone is going to be meant to be your client. Work with those who want and value you.
That's right. That's a really good point. A lot of us at this time feel like, I'll take any business I can right now, right? Because, I'll do anything for anyone, and it's hard to stay focused and true to yourself when right now everybody's kind of in this weird position. But let's take that out of it, and let's pretend that we're living in our normal world again. And it is true. You want to get good results with any client or customer that you have. You want people to be happy, and you want them to feel like you solved their problem. And if they are not vibing with you from the get-go, or you're just not seeing the thing, they're not checking the boxes that you need them to check, then it's your choice. It's your what's the word? Like, it's your right, to not work with that person. Like I said, right now, the times, they are changing. Things are weird. And, I know many of us, I can't get into somebody's home and work in their closet right now. And it makes it really, really difficult for me to do personal styling. Yes, there's virtual. Yes, I can do things. But if I am not hands-on touching your stuff and like holding things up to your body, it's really, really difficult for me. So I would rather not do it right now and take the hit, because I don't want to give somebody a bad experience, or an experience that's just not exactly what I know I can deliver, right? I've done that before. I had somebody who I worked with, and she was mainly virtual. I got into her closet one time. She only had a very limited time, and then she wanted me to do everything virtually. And I ended up canceling her as a client. I told her, I'll help you anytime you need, but I just feel like you're paying me all this money every month, and I'm not giving you the service that I really believe that I could give you. And it sucked taking a hit. It sucked taking it right when I was starting, but I also didn't want the word out there that I don't deliver on what I promised. And so it's up to you really to choose your clients and to choose your customers. And, it depends on the business you're working in. Some of us are service, some of us are products, and especially with products, you think, well, I just want everybody to buy it, right? I want everybody to get on board. Like if Anna's selling oils, she doesn't care who buys it. She just wants somebody who buys it. But that's not always true. Anna really cares about, how they feel when they're doing it. If they have a good experience, if they believe in her, if they believe in what she does and her business. And so I want you guys to think about that as well. Chrissy, you're in the same boat with Beauty Counter. You'll take the sales, right? But that's not going to be the perfect client for you. That's not your perfect customer who isn't somebody that's going to be long-term or make this last. And so you have to think about that with your business as well. You want this to last. You want this to keep going and get through this crisis that we're all in right now, and to be long-term. And so it's really important that you put that out there, your story brand and exactly who you are and what you can offer. Anyone else? I want to read through the comments real quick before I totally turn this off. Let's just see. Mika needs the emails. There you go, Mika. Okay.
I just have a really simple question.
Yes.
It's kind of stupid, you guys. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
No, because it's so random. But in my stories, I try to get people to engage with me, and I do, you know, the polls or the questions or whatever it is. And I have been finding, especially lately, and I don't know if it's because everybody's home, but I am getting so many spams. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
And I
I
wasn't
know.
sure if anybody else is like, I'm getting, you know, like, I mean, I'm small. I don't have a big following at the moment, but, you know, like I might get a few of my friends or people that I know. Please be quiet. Nope. Nope. Sorry, guys. Can you go outside, please? Thank you. So I'm like, so, you know, I might have like a half dozen people like that I know actually respond, but then I have 20 to 25 people saying like, hey, come follow me and let me help you and check out my last post and you're awesome. And like, it's all this spam. Like, are you guys all doing that as well? Like, are you getting that as well? Or is it just me?
Yes. And like you said, I think that this whole, the bots and all that, you know, and all the spam things that like all of us, they're tuning into their social media more and they're making it happen more. I don't really know the real answer, but I feel like it's the same thing. Like every time I post a question or a quiz or something or whatever, you know, I'm getting like, hey, you're sexy. I'm like, what?
Yes.
You know, like, what?
I know. I'm like, stop.
I know.
Okay.
Super
All right.
annoying, but it's happening.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to check to make sure it wasn't just my account.
No, I think it's happening to everyone.
I've noticed it too, and you can actually block, you know, you can block and remove that particular response so that it doesn't affect your results. Because if you want to share, like, you know how sometimes you can
screenshot it or share it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you don't want those things on there, it'll just remove it when you block that person.
Oh, good to
I've
know.
noticed
Okay.
That is good to know. I didn't realize you could do, I mean, I knew you could block the person, but I didn't realize it like took it off of the.
Same with, yeah, I'm the same.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I'm not sure if it's the same with polls, because I know that always ticks me off because it really does affect the number. Like it'll affect the percentage, you know, and that's annoying when you really do want an actual response on something.
For sure.
I'm not sure about that. I do have a question though, and
Yeah.
it's basic also. So no question is dumb, hopefully. So whenever we do talk about, you know, to give the little intro of ourselves, I always tend to stumble because, as we've discussed, I have two different audiences. I do the brand work that, you know, I've kind of grown as my brand has grown. And then I have the other side, which is like having, you know, people that are regular people just following me and making my recipes, and it all kind of feeds into each other. So as far as, and it's funny because I fluctuate back and forth depending on what I've been listening to. If I listen to a lot of stuff that's like how to connect to the actual consumer, like you guys, then I'll have like one way that I feel like I present myself. And then when I'm looking at the brand side, like right now, because I recently took a course. And so right now on my Instagram, for example, it says Florida-based culinary content creator, which to me makes sense, but I don't know to the average person if that is, you know, like, what does that mean? So I don't know. And I mean, I have on there, so I have Florida-based culinary content creator, recipe developer, food photographer, life balancer, and Lily Pulitzer, which was kind of like my, like, you know, kind of throwing it back to like, I'm just a mom, like that likes Lily or whatever. I don't even know. Like,
so my suggestion, and everyone else chime in too, but I think, especially on Instagram, people are familiar now with like the term content creator, or, you know, so I don't think you're turning anybody off, like the average like mom who wants to come and just find recipes. I don't think that you're going to turn them off by putting that on there. Your stuff it's like handholds, because without one you can't have the other, right? And without this you can't have this. So you really do have two client bases that you're servicing. And so I think combining the two like you do, it works perfectly. And the brand stuff pays the bills, right? So that is important. I think it is the most important thing for you to put on there, that Florida culinary creator, you know what I mean? Culinary content creator. I do think it's the top. And I don't think it turns off the average person anymore, because more and more people are kind of privy to that now. Like, oh, you know, a content creator, they know what content is. Not everybody, but you know, that's not the audience that you're on with Instagram, I think does kind of realize what it is. So I don't know, anyone else want to chime in on that?
Noel probably would be the best one to give feedback, but I actually did a lot of work on my bio because I was in a group with Jasmine Starr, who's like a Jenna Kutcher and all that. And what she advises is you say I am, and what it is, who you are, and then who is your ideal client or your niche. So and then the problem that you solve for them. So that was just, I don't know, Noelle can speak more to that because we've even reviewed my bio and stuff, but like when I go to it, I want to know like what it is, like when you just did your little bio things, like you told me what problem you solved for me. So if you could put that even in your bio, because like Life Balancer and Lily Pulitzer, like that's prime real estate on your bio right there. So just a few suggestions there.
Katrina, you want to chime in on that, or Noelle?
You can go, Katrina.
Yeah. No, Noelle, I'd love to hear this too. You go ahead.
I thought it was good. I mean, I don't think you need to include Florida. I mean, if we're talking Instagram bio, you only have so many characters. I think that you can put that in like the location part, like you can have a location anyways. Otherwise, I mean, maybe it's because all I do is work with a lot of content creators, so biased maybe, but I mean, I know exactly what a content creator is. And I think looking for me, it's super clear to me when I look at your page, what you do and who you do it for. So I think it's good.
Thank you.
I mean, I agree with what she just said too. I actually do like the location, and I think it depends on whether or not, if you want to be more of a national, that's fine, but just make sure you're like geotagging where you are, because people are really curious about that and we're connected to where they are. So, and if you're putting content creator, what Leanne said is so true. People know what that is now. So I don't think you're driving anybody away. I think as long as like your lingo and when you're actually posting is really there. And the comment about Lily Pulitzer, if you have the space, I like that. Like, I think it connects you to your ideal client. You're being really specific. So if you have space on there.
It makes you different.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think it all started when I was more concerned about saying, like, I didn't want to say food blogger anymore, because food blogs, there's a variety of food blogs, and some people are food bloggers, but they mean that they go to restaurants and talk about dining, which is not what I do. So that's why I always, and even when I first met you guys and Leanne, like one of our first meetings, I was like, well, I'm a food blog, but not that kind of food blogger. I'm a recipe developer, so I do this and this. And so I was like, the explanation was too long. So I just need something that's like quick and concise that I can, sort of spit out, and it explains everything across the board, so I think culinary
it's great,
content. Yeah. So I felt like that was kind of like the connector of all of it. But yeah, I want to relate to all the people that could potentially be, I could be helpful for. So.
Yeah. Because I think it's not just brands looking for content creators. Now we know most people, especially people on Instagram, right? That clientele know that a content creator could be a blogger, just an Instagrammer. There's a lot of things that fall under that umbrella. So I think it's great. You're not pushing anybody away.
Do you mind if I jump in for 1 second?
Please.
Okay. So one other thought too, Diana, is that your bio can evolve. And like whatever you put up there now, sometimes I try things for a little while and I live with it for like a couple of weeks and I'm like, oh, I do not like that. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I think as long as you're changing it and it's not too far away, right? You're not going to all of a sudden be like a stylist. But I think if you live with it for a little while and just see how it feels and what people respond, if they respond about it, and then you can always change it. Nothing about it is permanent.
That's true.
Instagram is completely a trial and error game.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because it's, it's like one of the first basic things that you should have kind of covered. And I've been mulling it over for so long. I'm like, how do I,
but sometimes it is one of the hardest things, because that is, it's like the first impression, and it's those, 3 to 5 things that you want people to remember about you. So it can, like Katrina and Noelle saying, like, it can evolve, but also sometimes it's the hardest thing to do, right? It's like the hardest thing. Hannah, is like a prime example. It's been the hardest thing for her to do when she wanted to rebrand, was to like get just the name, right? She had everything else kind of figured out, and it was the name. It was like that, because that's the first impression. That's the pillar of what she's doing. And so I get it. Like, we're all struggling with these things. We have this big broad picture of what we're doing and what we want to do, but sometimes it's those little details that we know are very, very important that are the hardest to come up with. But yeah, Noelle.
I have a quick question. So I actually am not sure if any of you have experienced this. So one of my clients, literally, it's bizarre because it's not even a big Instagram account. Like, not even like her full focus. Anyways, it got hacked. So what they did was they created a completely separate account with her same picture and her same bio. They don't have any pictures though, and they changed the handle by like a number. So I reported it on multiple different accounts. I filled the form out on Instagram. They keep like I let all, our audience, like, is there anything else I can be doing, or like how quickly can this be resolved?
This is crazy. Just like the bots that Christy was talking about before, this is happening a lot right now. I have 2 other friends in other groups that I'm on that this has happened to recently, and it's such a pain in the, what, and I don't know, on those groups, all we've been doing is, because we're in these little pods or whatever, we're like reporting it as a fake account or whatever. And then I don't know what the outcome has been. Some of them, the 2 women that it happened to both put like, okay, thanks guys for doing it. They've taken it down now. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it
happened to me with, I hired someone to do my social media, and their employee, they had a falling out and they changed all of the passwords going into everyone's social media. So luckily I wasn't that far into it, but they had the name that I wanted, and I've reported it the whole 9 yards, and I just had to start a new one, and I do it myself now. But it was like, you're completely helpless.
Yeah, they did use the same name. I have like the name, and we've had this account for like 2 years now.
Right.
It's a copy. Yeah.
We put like the same name _ and a number, and mine doesn't have a number. Or hers.
Yeah. It was that we started with my name without like the period in the middle. Now it's like Erilyn Interiors. And it was just crazy. Like they changed the name or the password and the email, and we couldn't access it anymore. It was just like,
yeah, because I keep reporting it, and like literally
we did that too, and nothing. It's still up. They never took it down.
Oh my God, don't tell me.
I mean, this was over a year ago.
Wow.
And using something like a password service, something like LastPass or AnyPass or OnePass, like even if you have people working in your accounts, you shouldn't ever be giving people your direct password. I don't know if that would solve any of that or help with it, but
I didn't even know there was something like that.
Well, this is, I think we're talking about 2 different things here. Like one is somebody actually hacking your account, and what Jessica is saying is true. And then also Stephanie Edison popped in on the chat and said, make sure you have 2-factor authentication. This is something completely different. This is somebody just taking like the Mama Crush and adding the number 2 at the end and creating their own account, but using my photo and stuff, so that when people search the Mama Crush, that account may pop up as well, and they can put whatever the heck they want, and and make a bad name for you.
Account, and like my client actually, like I'm the only one with the password, and I don't have anyone who works on her account. So it's literally, they just created an entirely new account, and it's frustrating because some of her followers are like messaging me, letting me know, which is good, so I can like see what they're saying. But it's basically they're messaging people, and she's like a religious-based author, so it's like they're trying to use that to be like, you should invest in like, they're like, it's a scam. Oh, it is.
Right.
I don't want to have as many people as possible report it.
That's what I was going to say, is even the best. Go on our Facebook group or go on Instagram and tag a few of us and ask us to report it, and we'll do it for you, because I think the more people you have to do it, the better. And I think that's how it gets shut down, because these 2 other women that I know put it on our pod, which is like 30 women, and I think it's been shut down. So.
This is the one, I just put it in the comments if anyone.
That's the one that's fake?
Yeah, that's the fake one. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
It's DC Ministries _67.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the fake one. So if you guys have a minute when you're on Instagram to go on there and report it as fake, we would so appreciate it.
It's a good thing that I haven't encountered this with like the 10 of their accounts I made.
I know. But it's something that's happening. It's just like the stupid Autobot thing. Like, I think there's just a lot more time. I say time because I just got done saying how we don't have any more time, but there's a lot more people with malicious intent with time on their hands, right? So, all right, ladies, I'm going to wrap this up. We've gone really long, but I thank you so much for staying on and for being here. Let's see. Eve is asking Diana a question in the chat box. Diana, if you want to check that out real quick, and maybe you guys can talk about that. She's talking about using bullet points vertically in your bio.
I have not tried that. I'm going to do that. I do that for my regular post, but I didn't know that you could do that in your bio. But that would, for the OCD in me, that's actually very appealing. So, thank you.
Awesome.
I gotta go, guys. My computer's about to die.
All right. Bye, ladies. Thank you so much. Go join, if you haven't already, for the founders by Friday at midnight. And I can't wait to see you guys again. If you know anyone that wants to join our meeting tomorrow night, it's the same Zoom ID. We're on at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk about the same topic, so you don't have to be on the meeting. We do the same topic for both meetings. It's just those that can't get on. So see you soon. Bye.